Premature ejaculation can be just as stressful as erectile dysfunction, even though there isn't set time that defines a premature ejaculation. But typically, it's considered premature ejaculation if it happens within 60 to 90 seconds inside the partner, or even during foreplay, or when and as you're trying to penetrate. Depending on whether the cause is a psychological or due to the sensitivity, doctors might suggest medication or a surgical solution. But today, I'm going to share 4 methods that you can try it at home. Like I mentioned earlier, premature ejaculation can have multiple complicated causes. So you can see which type of a premature ejaculation applies to you and follow the corresponding solution. Ready? Let's go. The first is a counting method. Let's imagine we are running a marathon. So how long is the marathon? It's a 26.2 miles, right? So when you run a marathon, knowing you have run about 20 miles versus not knowing how far you have gone makes a big difference, right? It's the same with the sex too. We need to know how far you have come before the end. So it's good to count. But what are we counting? We are counting the thrust. If you usually ejaculate after 50 thrusts, you will want to increase that to 60 next time, right? So when you reach about 40 thrusts, your mind will automatically start being cautious. You will start thinking, since I usually finish at 50, I should slow down or pause a bit here. Then you will find a way to somewhat manage to push through to 60 thrusts, and the next 65 and 70 and so on. Gradually, the time increases. But you need to find your baseline first. When you know your baseline, and then aim to increase it by 5 next time, and then 10 and so on. Another advantage of this method is distraction. Some people can last long during masturbation but finish quickly during actual intercourse. It could be due to visual stimuli, touch, or atmosphere. But when you are counting, you get distracted from your partner, which helps delay ejaculation. So when you have intercourse next time, start the counting as soon as you begin penetration. The second method is the squeezing technique. Everyone has a slightly different sensitive area, but generally speaking, the area around the frenulum is known to be most sensitive, or it might be this area. It all depends on the person. But during intercourse, when you feel like you're about to climax, pause and firmly squeeze this area. You need to squeeze it tightly, like you're trying to stop water from coming out of the hose. Obviously, not to the point that it's hurting yourself. So what happens is, when your sensation builds up and when you squeeze, it drops, then builds up again and drops again when you squeeze. So you can prolong the time through pattern of a building and then dropping sensation. I saw an article about these days men also getting Brazilian waxes. They said that it's very common for men to get erect. And when they are erect, the tape is pulled off, the pain causes the erection to disappear. So it's pretty much the same principle. When I recommend this to my patients, some ask me how that's possible to do so during intercourse without their partner noticing it. But it is definitely possible because it only takes 1 or 2 seconds. You can squeeze it when trying to change the position, and because I don't want to get another warning from the YouTube, I won't go into details, but I'm sure you can figure it out. So basically, when it's out, just squeeze it firmly for 1 or 2 seconds. Your partner will never know. And some people feel like they're about to climax right before or as trying to penetrate. In that case, there is no time to pull out or anything, right? Then you squeeze it before you go in. So basically going in with a little bit of a pain, discomfort, but this can give you a little more time. But there's a key point here. When you reach about 70%, that's when you should pull out and squeeze. Let's try to remember. As you probably know, the speed from 70% to 80% is different from the speed from 80 to 9%, right? 80 to 90%, right? It's an acceleration. It's much faster. So you don't wait till 80 to 90%. Pull out at 70% or even 60% is fine. In real situation, this might not work perfectly at first. You might not be sure when and where is your 70 or 80%. And you might not know how hard to squeeze to reduce the sensation. But don't give up if you fail the first couple of times. Or you can practice this with masturbation too. The third method is a stop and start training. This is also a method to reduce sensitivity. So here's how you do it. First, you find a quiet, relaxing, and private space and start masturbating. When you're about to ejaculate, let's say climax is a 10, you stop at around 7. Depending on the person, this pause might be 2-3 seconds or even 30 seconds or longer. You should maintain your erection, and once the urge to ejaculate subsides, you start again. So you repeat this process 3 times and ejaculate on the 4th time. It's best to do this training at least twice a week. If you have a stamina, you can do it every day. Try this for 2 weeks, then you will have an ability to control/stop the climax in the middle. Then we go to the advanced stage, which is try masturbation with lubricants or with a soap in the shower. After about another 2 weeks of this training, you will gain ability to pause even with the enhanced stimulation. But if this sounds too troublesome, I will tell you an easier way. It's to simply use an adult toy. The principle is the same. You're just skipping the basic and going straight to the advanced training. I was told that sex toys these days, they are really well made. Some even say it feels better than a real person. So basically you start this training with more enhanced stimulation than lubricant. But when you go for this route, don't use the automatic one like this one. Go for something you can control manually, like this one. So, just like hand masturbation, stop at 7 and pause. Wait for the sensation to drop, then stimulate again. And stop at 7 again. And keep doing this 3 times and ejaculate on the 4th time. At first, these time intervals will be very short, but over time, these intervals will be longer and longer. So if you practice both during actual intercourse or while masturbating, you will definitely notice an increase in time. The last one is a targeted Kegel exercise, but it only helps with the premature ejaculation due to weakened pelvic floor muscles. What you can feel is when you try to squeeze the penis right before the climax to prevent ejaculation, but you feel the muscle doesn't get tight enough. In this case, try the targeted Kegel exercise that I share in my video. Today, I didn't include methods like using numb cream or extended pleasure condoms or masturbating before sex, that kind of stuff, because those are just a temporary fix. The method I have shared today are ways to address this fundamentally. You know, while preparing this whole ED series, I have really come to realize that being a man isn't easy. I'm sure it's the same for the women too. But the things that we have to go through for sex? But a healthy sex life is a major source of vitality in our lives and an important part of our overall health. You have worked hard until now. So let's keep pushing a little harder so we can continue to live healthy and happy lives. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe, and remember, health is wealth, so invest in yourself. This is Dr. Sean, making health easy for you. See you next week.